All right. Oh, it looks like we are live. Welcome back to another week of 7 Gen Live. Um, to all everybody checking it out, everybody watching. Happy Friday, end of the week. Hopefully you are still grounded and haven't blown away. 2 days of crazy, crazy wind over here. This morning I peeked outside. I have a little thing of chickens and ducks in the yard, and one of the ducks was pinned up against the fence from the wind. He wasn't sure how to get out of it. How to go help him out over there. But good week, long week. We're here. We're firmly into 2021 on this side of it, and on the other side of winter solstice. This is going to be an awesome show. Have the one and only Marla Bullbear on today to talk about an amazing project that she has going on over in Milks Camp, working with our Sicangu youth. Marla, great to have you. Always good to see you. How have you been?
Hey, Mike, good to see you. I love to be able to meet virtually this way. This is cool stuff, man. Cool beans. Yeah. So I haven't blown away. We're all still here out in Milks Camp, out in God's country, part of the Sicangu land. We're excited.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Tell us what's new and exciting over there in Milks Camp. I have to say, one of my favorite memories, it was pretty soon after I'd moved to Rosebud. I got to come visit you all at your former place, which was over in Herrick's, correct?
Yep.
Cool. And you all have now moved locations to a different camp. Tell us what's going on out there over on the east side of Rosebud country.
Well, we're located actually in Old Milks Camp. We're about quarter of a mile right across the bridge from the old powwow grounds that we still use when there's not a pandemic, right? So we have moved here. We have all of our facilities, all of our programs, everything. We've consolidated everything to this one site. And it's been a great transition for us because we've been able to really focus on developing our programs. As you know, there's been some new things just recently we've been able to pull together. But for those people that don't know me, I'm Marla Bullbear. I'm Sicangu Lakota from Milks Camp community. My husband's Charles, and we have kids, and I got grandkids, and I live to be the best unchi there is. So I'm working at it. I'm a unchi in training. But anyway, I've been
one of the cutest grandkids I've ever seen too. Yeah, your granddaughter is really beautiful family. I love seeing pictures on Facebook, so that's always fun to see as well.
Oh, thanks. I love seeing them on Facebook too. That's what keeps me going, is being able to see those grandkids. And when they come, they play on my phone. They do their own like little music videos, and I have fun memories because when they go home, then I can sit and rewatch them. But anyway, so I've been doing this nonprofit work for nearly 30 years. 2021 is our 29th year of this Native nonprofit organization, and it's been quite a ride, you know. And this last year has been, well, shall I say, tumultuous for all of us. We've had things we've never even dreamed of having to deal with, but in the midst of all the struggle that we have because of the pandemic and the fear and concern and the loss we have related to the virus, some pretty awesome things have happened. We've had a chance to really spend time developing our programs. We've been doing alcohol and drug prevention, culturally specific prevention programming for Native youth since 1994. So we've been doing that for a while. And to be able to add, you know, other prevention components like doing mental education. And just recently, we were able to bring on Fred Fasthorse back on staff. We got Fred back, and he's helping with our opioid program. And I want to mention that a little bit more later. But we're doing some, you know, gearing up to do some great things in the community there, and we're definitely going to need this community support for it. As with anything, you know, as well as I do, that not much can happen unless we work together. We all got to make it happen together, and so we're looking forward to doing that. And specifically with our opioid grant that we just got through the state of South Dakota, we're looking for key leaders, people in our across the reservation that can help us with developing a plan, getting people involved. And Fred and I are going to be reaching out to people like you, Mike, and other people in the community that can help us. Some of our tribal governance, our leadership, there are traditional people, our elders. You know, there are so many different components of our on our reservation of key people that make things happen. And those are the people we need to connect with and have, and for now, we'll get together virtually. So we're wanting to get together an initial group of key leaders to have an initial meeting. And so we hope that after this, if you're interested at all in helping us to figure out and be a support in the community to address the opioid issues in our communities, please reach out to Fred, Fast Horse, or myself. Just give us a call, get on the website, give us a chat, let me know. Most of you can find me on Facebook. That's where I'm at a lot of the time.
Well, that'd be great. If it's okay with you, Marla, too, we can get contact information and share it up here after the show, and kind of direct anybody with more information just to funnel people your way. I kind of wanted to ask, just to back up a little bit too, how can you talk a little bit about how did you, I mean, the program you all run is incredible. I think the work that you guys do with Sicangu and other Indigenous youth is really a model for youth work. Tell us a little bit more about what's your story about how you found your way to that work? Why is that something that you became passionate about in the first place, working with Indigenous youth?
Well, I didn't decide initially that I wanted to work with youth. In fact, quite the opposite. I started taking classes at Sicangu University. I was married, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life after I decided I wanted to be married, and then started taking classes. And you know, the funny thing is that I remember telling one of my first advisors, you know what, I don't ever want to work with youth. They're just too tough a population to work with. You know, and so look at me, never say never, because you're going to eat your words, people. You're just going to do it. So I'm a perfect example of how I literally backed into doing this work. I started working at a community mental health center, got my human services degree, ended up eventually getting my master's degree in community counseling at Sicangu University. And we were working with people with disabilities, and we found that a lot of young people became disabled because of preventable conditions, life things that happened. So we decided that the only way to really work upstream is to do prevention work. So we jumped through a lot of hoops. We became accredited through the state of South Dakota as a prevention services provider. And we eventually found a project venture as our evidence-based model. We called and met with Mac Hall and went through his training. He's a great guy, really personable. And he helped us to provide the framework for what we're doing now with our culturally specific prevention work. So it's been quite a ride. Been at this for a long time. And for those people that are trying to give young people advice, I think we all need to kind of sit back and think about how our lives have been, because rarely do you find your passion right off the bat. You know, it's like my road to where I am now was kind of like how the bees travel, man. I mean, it's up and around and circled and all over the place until I finally found it. And I think our young people need to realize that they need to take time to think about what they're passionate about. And in the meantime, try a lot of things, because that's going to help you move you closer. So anyway, that's my little tidbit for today. But that's how I came to be where I am, and really finding this as this is my calling. This is where the Creator put me. And as long as I'm needed here, I'll be at it.
I love it. That's an incredible story. And that's a really good reminder to me as a young parent and relatively new husband, not to put things out in the universe I'm not ready to eat my words on. So thank you for reminding me that. I appreciate it. I think that's one of the things I love, getting the opportunity to talk and to visit with you, is the experience and like you said, you've been at it for over 20 years doing some of this work, and that historical knowledge and kind of perspective on how things have, programs that have come and gone, or approaches that you've been able to implement and try, to kind of get that evidence base of what works and what doesn't. I think that's really powerful, and you bring a good voice to the community in that way. Kind of building on that a little bit. You talked a little, about working upstream, kind of getting to root causes, not just addressing symptoms at the back end, but really starting to build a different sort of environment and framework that can help deep problem solving and creating better conditions for youth. What have you seen since you've been at this work? What have been some of the real positive things that you've seen change? And now where we're at, here 2021, what's the kind of energy that you feel surrounding this work now? Is it different? Is it kind of a little bit more of the same? Like, how do you see where the community's at and what's been working and along those lines?
Well, I've really seen a shift in our young people to being more proactive, more empowered, more able to voice their issues and concerns. And I'd like to think that those of us that have been in doing the work for these last years have had some small role in that, helping them to find their voice and to help them realize that what they have, their ideas, what's going on in their lives matter to everyone. And this is something that has happened in Indian country and literally all across the world, that you've seen young people stand up and really make a big difference. And I think it's no different here in the Sicangu land for us, is that we have young people that have no problem telling their opinion and sharing that if they're given a safe place to do it, if they're invited to the table. And I think that's something that we always have to keep in mind, that our young people always have to be invited to the table. The saying is nothing about us without us. That's, when we're working with young people, we have to have them at the table or it won't work. And I think that's what helped us as a program to last this long, because we basically have given the program to the youth that through their input, things change. Believe me, not because I want to sometimes. I knew nothing about bees, Mike. I knew nothing about bees. But after a presentation and the kids getting all concerned about how bees are going to survive their livelihood and how they're going to, be able to continue nurturing grandmother Earth, it's hard pressed. You can't say no. You got to do what you can, right? And who knew, some 8 years later, here we are with 50 hives, a business that's, do you know we've sold honey to 42 states in the lower 48. 42.
Hawaii.
Huh?
We have Hawaii.
Oh, and we have Hawaii now. Wow, blow my mind. So, I think that's the big change. Youth have been given the steel in their spine, the voice, the safe place, and the opportunity. And we need to make sure that those things continue for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. It strikes me how different that is from the standard approach. Let's just, be real blunt, like with schooling, that most of our youth are going on. It has nothing to do with passion and interest and problem solving and kind of letting them lead where we're going to go. It's a very much a totally different model of really based in a very negative history, which we all know about. But that's so inspiring to me. I think the Bee Project is such an amazing example of what can happen. When you, exactly what you said, when you can give young people the opportunity to pursue an idea and a passion and really lead. Tell us a little bit more about that project. For anyone who doesn't know, Honey Lodge, get on the website and order some honey right now. It is hands down the best honey I've had. But tell us a little bit more about the project.
Well, it's LakotaHoneyLodge.org, and we have got a Valentine's Day sale, so get some honey for your honey. Yeah, don't be late. Make sure you get it in time. We got a great sale going on, which is awesome. And because we've been working at this for 8 years, not just to make a successful business, which is also a great thing to have, but the primary reason we got involved is to help Grandmother Earth and to help our winged relatives. And you know what? Our winged relatives include the bees. Now, whether that are our native bees or are those that have come here from other places, because the honeybee is actually from Europe, right? So, we've had some immigrants, and to welcome immigrants here, we welcome them and we thank them for what they have for us. And you know what? They give back so wonderful. We do our best to help them, and they're great teachers. The life of a honeybee, as I've learned right along with the youth, is a great way to understand how to live as a tribe, how to live as a community. It's all for everyone. It has to be for everyone, and everyone has a role, and everyone works really hard to make things successful so that we can have a successful season, a successful year, successful life. And so the youth have really continued to lead this from the ground up, and we have brought in experts and taken them to, we took a couple of years ago, we took them to the Oregon Honey Festival. What an adventure that was. We took our minibus and about 15 youth, and off we went across the northern plains and on to Oregon. And we met some wonderful people. That's the other thing, is that youth need to see that there are people that really admire them, appreciate them, and understand what our history has laid to our before our ancestors, and what strength we must have still to be here. There are a lot of people outside of our local communities and border towns and state that recognize us for who we are as Native people. And our youth were just overwhelmed that there were so many people that were kind and nice and treated them with respect. And our youth need that. Every human being needs that, especially our Native youth. And so having Honey Lodge create those kinds of opportunities and experiences, not only just learning about a business and how to take care of their winged relatives, but how to bottle honey, how to sell it, how to package it. Not because we didn't have missteps, by the way. We had plenty. I think I mentioned to you, my master's is in community counseling, not business administration. All right, so I was on a uphill climb, really. So we learned together, and we learned from those mistakes, because that's where the true learning comes from. You don't learn a great lesson if you do it right the first time, if you think back on it. But if you make a real big misstep, oh man, you're going to remember that for a lifetime. I've got a lot of lifetime memories, by the way. So, Honey Lodge has really been able to be that kind of conduit for our youth to gain experiences, connect with people from look at 42 states, from Hawaii even, from all of these people that are not only, I believe that people buy our honey because it's good honey. You said it, it tastes delicious. And South Dakota has the best honey of, of anywhere almost anywhere in the nation. It buys South and North Dakota kind of go back and forth between who has the best honey. But the fact of the matter is that it's also an opportunity for people to give back and help our kids in their business. And I think just as much that is important to people that buy the honey, is that it's an opportunity to pay it forward. It's an opportunity to help someone get a hand up. And, that's why I think that, Honey Lodge honey is really one of those value added products that it's worth so much more than the little bottle of honey.
Well, I love too the way that you all, something I was really struck by is sometimes maybe there seems to be a tension between, the idea of teaching and embodying traditional values, and between, say, something like a business development. And I when I walked in and just see the way you all operate, it's both. You can do both. Can you talk a little bit about that? How you as a program and a group of people have really stressed like adhering to cultural values and tradition, while at the same time saying we can go out and run a top-notch business, and those don't conflict. They actually work together. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, we started out helping our youth reclaim their culture and their cultural ways and traditions, and connecting with elders, those kinds of things. But what we found that our youth needed help learning how to translate that into life in real world. And so not only was our hobby beekeeper, Dave Braveheart's visit the beginning of Honey Lodge, but it was also an important step for us that we needed to take an opportunity to help our youth live and walk their values and their culture in an entrepreneurial experience. And that was, I think that has helped our youth to understand that you can create a business plan that incorporates our values, that incorporates how we see our bee relatives and how we need to treat them with respect, and that helps to provide the framework and for how we run a business. There are some things they had to say no to, with regard to beekeeping and the beekeeping industry. There's some things that we had to say no, that does not fit with who we are as Sicangu Lakota. That does not fit with our values. And we consulted regularly with our elders in doing so. Jerome Kilsmall is one of our dearest elders. He's on our board of directors. And as you know, Mike, when there's something going on here, he's here. I think he's always here. He created our bee song. I mean, Honey Lodge honey is the Lakota equivalent for kosher, right? I mean, because we pray over our honey, we smudge, we pray. And Jerome created a bee song for our bee relatives to welcome them, to let them know how much we appreciate them. So we are able to walk this business being fully Lakota, being fully embracing who we are traditionally, culturally. And I think that this helps our youth to be able to see, if I can do a business like this way, I can do just about anything, and hold my head high and put steel in my spine, because I don't have to listen to someone saying I have to bend to their values or their way of doing business. I can do business the Lakota way.